Good morning and welcome to another Writer's Morning Commute with Ashton Gaskill. So I have I don't know if it's an idea or what exactly you can call it, but something that I want to write a book with this storytelling method in mind. It's something that I've noticed really can take a good story and turn it into a great story, I think. And that is what I'm calling generational outlining. And what I mean by this is outlining character motivations and, character histories, ghosts, what they want, all that kind of stuff. All that good stuff that we've talked about in the past. But outlining it not just for your current cast of characters, but for their parents' generation as well. So their parents' friends, that type of thing. And basically whatever the oldest group is, the oldest generation that has a POV chapter maybe, but the oldest generation that features heavily in your book, you want to go one generation past that at least. And what this does is allows you to give your characters more believable childhoods, and those childhoods then create characters who make more sense. Their ghosts are more consistent. Everything just kind of fits into place better. Because each character, whatever their motivation is, whatever their ghosts are, they essentially start out as a mystery for the reader. The reader wants to know, how did this person turn out this way? And for the vast majority of people in the real world, that answer would be because their childhood was like this, because their parents were like this. And there's a certain extent of, important moments in our history that define us, but so much of who we are comes down to how we were raised, or the conditions in which we were raised. So I think this is a really powerful technique, trying to not just outline the character as they've been in the last, 10, 20 years or whatever, but really outline them back one or two full generations. Just to kind of give an idea what that's like, I have a few examples to talk about. When done poorly, this kind of creates a sense that the drama and the conflicts are just now starting. It's been a while since I've read Red Rising, but I recall Red Rising feeling like this. This is part of why it felt so YA to me, because all of the teenage characters are the ones with the drama, and there wasn't a lot of drama from the adult characters. And that's not to say that YA can't do this too, but in general, YA tends to focus the drama on the teenage characters or young adult characters. So I feel like that was a book that could have been improved with some generational outlining. But when it's done well, you get things like Harry Potter, where people want, a whole book series dedicated to the Marauders, because the Marauders had this whole story and all this interpersonal conflict between, James and Snape and what was going on with Wormtail and all this stuff. But we only get a very little bit of that. But how those people acted and how they affected their children or lack of children helped to define who they were to a certain extent, helped to define the current conflict conflicts and the current drama, which gives the world a sense of depth. And I feel like Harry Potter did an okay job of that. The next better job, for me, is Naruto. You have all of the main generation's parents have histories. You have their teachers who have histories. And there's just all of this, at least one, if not two generations worth of past conflict that set up family rivalries, that set up family goals, that drive how these people became the people they are and how they continue. Some of them, accept those family values, those family rivalries, and some of them reject them. But it's all this big history that's baked right into the core conflict of Naruto versus Sasuke in a whole bunch of different ways. There's parallels between the main characters and their teachers, and there's parallels between the main characters and their parents or their ancestors. But the one that does this best for me is Game of Thrones, which, not a big surprise. You have, I think the main focus that I'm going to look at here is the Lannisters. You have the current group of Lannisters, you have their father Tywin, you have his father, you have all these different people, all these histories, and while the history of the world goes back a ways, the history of the conflict really only goes back one, maybe two generations for the most part. So hopefully that gives you some stuff to think about, how you can make your conflicts older or feel older than they are to make your world feel more realistic. I hope you enjoyed writing with me, and I hope you have a great day.